Hello folks, welcome along to A Taste of Country with Lucia Butler. I've got a gentleman here beside me. It's Glen Flynn and he's awfully nice.
Thank you very much, Lucia, all the way from Tullamore in County Offaly. That's why I'm awfully nice. And I'm delighted to be here in the kitchen of Conway's Tree at approximately 3:15 on Saturday morning. And even though I should be in my bed, I'm glad to come here and have this chat with yourself.
Okay. Well, it's worth it, isn't it? You've just come off stage there, Glen, and a great night it was.
It was a powerful night. I'm delighted for Seamus. It was a great crowd, great bands. And it started at about 8:30 this evening, and it's only about 10 minutes finished, and it was a great night. And great to see some of the faces that I met years ago over here that I haven't seen for a good few years. And they were dancing and having a great time, and I had a great time. And I think by looking at you now, you had a great time as well, Lucy.
Where would you have seen them all, Glen? In the Galtymore, etc.?
Yeah, it was surely the Galtymore. There was, I think it was Seamus Hennigan down there in the Lord Nelson as well.
On Holloway Road.
Yeah, Holloway Road. The Gresham days, the Hibernian, Fulham.
Camden Town.
Camden, that's right. And all them places.
Forum, wasn't it? The Forum.
That's right. I think there was St Jude's over here. There's a number of places, but I haven't seen a lot of places. I knew the faces that I'd seen. I recognised the faces tonight, but names, I had a few names right. But it was great to see them all there tonight, and it's a sort of a nostalgic night, I suppose.
Absolutely, absolutely. Glen, before we go any further, you are from County Offaly. You're from around Tullamore. Just
outside Tullamore, living now in a place called Ballinnagar. I was born in a place called the Wood of O. It's a strange name, the Wood of O. It was just outside Tullamore, a place called Ballydaly, out that direction. And I'm living now in Ballinnagar for the last 10, 12 years. So yeah, it's handy. It's great for my job because 2 hours. 2.5 hours will take you a long way when you're based more or less dead centre of Ireland.
I was just going to say that, more or less centre of Ireland there.
A long way, so it's for my job. It's pretty good to be living there.
And are you from a big family? 4 or 5?
Yeah, 6, 5 girls and myself. I was the eldest of the 6 of us. And
did them girls boss you around?
They did when I was. Yeah, I got a very hard upbringing. Yeah, I was cutting the rough end of the stick the whole time. You know, Mammy, he's hitting me and all. And run for my life. But is
there any singers amongst them, Glen?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. When we were heading up to the grandparents' house, they're from a place called Clonaslee in County Laois. My father's. That's where he came from. And years ago, when we'd be travelling up there, say to see them, we'd be coming home in the car and a sing-song start, and they were the best of harmony singers. There was 3-part harmonies going in the car coming home, but actually none of them took the music up. They were more interested in men and stuff and having babies and stuff, and so I just prolonged my game. So I was the only one that came out with the music. No, but they can do it all right. But no, they wouldn't like the life of travel on the roads and that type of thing, you know.
Glen, can I ask you how many years you're on the road, roughly?
I started when I was 16. I actually that was back in the 80s, and I couldn't afford. To tell you the truth, I couldn't afford the price of a guitar, and I always wanted a guitar. And back then, it was, if you had a guitar, it was a pretty big deal as such, really. Not a big deal, but it was big. It was pretty. Wasn't many guitar players around, that type of thing.
You'd have been very lucky, wouldn't you, to have one?
So. We were actually, I was not in around this time of the year, actually, funny enough. There was a talent competition going on in Tullamore in a place called the Tower Lounge at the time, and we had just drew home the turf from the bog, and the next day there was a family reunion out in the house out in Durrow outside Tullamore. But that evening decided to go into the Tower Lounge to have a drink, and them days, I think the pubs were closed around maybe 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. They were closed. That was the closing time. All
from the bottles and no tills, the paper, pen and paper tied up.
Absolutely. And there was a talent competition on the same night, and God be good to her, a lady, she entered my name for the competition. I didn't even know a thing about her. Her name was Bridie Malone from next door to us at home, Wood of O, and I was sitting down just drinking a glass of orange or something, and next thing the compere said, we've one late entry, you know, all the way from Tullamore and or from Wood of O. He says, put your hands together for Glen Flynn. So with that, I get very nervous. My heart started thumping at 90 mile an hour. My legs started shaking at 90 mile an hour as well. And I went up and I sang, and I went through